you are part of the ownership team of a ninja gym, ninja parkour, tricking, lots of different things going on there. Ariel's gym in Greenville, South Carolina, called Motive School of Movement. How was this place born? So we know, I think anybody that knows you knows a little bit of this backstory with Brett and Grace and Bob, the other owners, but how did the four of you come together, and where did the idea for building this place come from?
Yeah. Well, when I first got involved in Ninja Warrior, that was when I learned that there was another guy here in Greenville that was also doing Ninja Warrior. And I didn't know Brett. That was Brett Sims. I didn't know Brett from Adam. We didn't grow up in the same circles. He's younger than I am. So we didn't know each other. And so as I started getting involved in some of the backyard competitions and stuff where I'd travel to, or, places like that, things like that, or with the show, well, I reached out to Brett. I was like, hey man, I hear you're doing this Ninja Warrior stuff. I'm starting to get involved in that. And, yeah, let's meet sometime. And so, we would, meet up at either a competition or maybe, go have lunch or something. And as we talked more, it was season, let me get this right, season 7, somewhere early on there. I met Grace on set as well. And so Brett met Grace that year. I met Grace that year. They were both working in Atlanta at the time, I think. And obviously hit it off. And Bob was a friend of theirs. Well, at some point Brett moves back to Greenville.
And Brett, if I understand correctly, Brett from way back was into parkour, right?
Yeah.
Very early on.
Before I knew what parkour was, before most people knew what parkour was, Brett was.
That's Bob Reese's thing. And is that how the two of them sort of knew each other from?
Yeah, I believe so. There was a gym that had just started at some point down in Atlanta called Ninja Quest. And they worked together there. And I'm not sure the timeline, but at some point, Bob and Brett, I think, were working there together at Ninja Quest. Maybe Grace. No, I don't know if Grace was involved in that, but I think Ryan was down there as well.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow up the timeline, but I just wanted to kind of tie some of this together. So you and Brett and Grace kind of all met each other at the same time. And Bob Reese was in this friend group as well, sort of from the beginning.
Yeah. Now, I had never met Bob. Brett and Grace and I first started kind of talking about building a gym. At this point, there was, I don't know, just the very smallest handful of gyms in the world or in America. Movement Lab, I think, was one of the first up in Ohio, and I can't remember. Ninja Quest down in Atlanta. A major city here or there might have one, but there weren't a lot of ninja gyms around. But I knew, because we all knew that Greenville could support a ninja gym. We knew that we could see the growth of the sport, the growth of the show, how it was just growing. And so Brett had moved back up here to Greenville, and we sat down a time or two with Grace and Brett and me, and we started having lunches here and there and started thinking about, well, what if, maybe we can, let's go start looking at sites. Let's start putting together some plan and start seeing if we can find some financing and doing all the stuff that it takes and start to save some money. And it went one point, we got pretty far down the road of the planning and thinking and the idea stage. And at some point, Brett said, well, what if I got a buddy named Bob Reese. How about, we kind of dial him in. And I didn't know Bob. And at this point I was thinking to myself, I don't know if we want to, get involved somebody else. I know these people, but I don't know this other guy. And of course, so then we ended up meeting Bob, and I was like, oh yeah, bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. Bob's our guy.
He's a force of nature.
Bob was super impressive. His athleticism, his energy, and he's just, it's just a great team. We've each got our buckets of responsibility, and it works really well.
What was your goal? What did you want to do with this place?
We wanted to build a space, provide a space that people could train ninja and parkour as safely as possible, and learn it, not just come in and bounce around and play and see you later, but to learn it and be taught skills and movement in as safe as way as we can. Yeah, and give a space for people to compete and be one of the best ninja gyms in the country.
So you created a facility, a space for not only training but learning.
Yeah.
And all kinds of different disciplines and all different ages.
Yeah.
As we have classes that are available for, we have Mommy and Me classes that
start at 3 years old.
Little itty bitty ones at 3 years old. And we have an entire room that is built to scale for smaller kids with a lot of the stuff that you would see on the TV show, but on up through teenagers and then adults. There's adult classes for parkour and ninja. There's open gym, which you can come in and train on your own. There's amazing instructors there. So you created a space for learning and for training in a void, in a vacuum. You filled a need for this.
Yeah.
And so what was this? This was 2020, right? When you guys
opened we started with building the space out in late 2019.
Okay.
Probably
and you guys built that place basically with your bare hands.
Yeah, we had the shell built, and in terms of finishing out the inside, it was just a wide open space, and we could do whatever we want to with it. And fortunately, I didn't come from gym life. I never knew anything about a gym. Brett and Bob both grew up had a lot of dealings with Greenville gymnastics, a lot of experience there, I think. And so they grew up in the gym environment, and they had the vision of how it might be laid out in terms of the parkour area here and the ninja area here and a spring floor here and some trampolines. I didn't have any clue as to what that looked like in my head. And so I just let them run with it. I trusted them with what they envisioned, and I'm glad I just kind of stayed out of the way and let them do it, because they did such a great job with it.
And Brett's a bit of a mad scientist when it comes to designing and building those things.
You can't ask for a better person to partner with in a business than somebody like that who just has this creative vision, not just the creativity to see it in his head, but the ability to put it together with his hands and prototype something and make adjustments and come up with a final product. And
there's so many times I walk back into the office and there's a whiteboard over there and some pieces of paper over there, and they got these crazy drawings on them. I'm like, oh, what is he up to now? And
I'll save those.
Yeah, and I'll see Brett out hanging up in the trusses or something. I'm like, what you got going on now?
He's always got something.
It's like, and then I'll watch him put this stuff together that he built with his bare hands and then hung up in the trusses. And I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening here?
Yeah.
He's like, well, you swing here, you come over here, you grab this, you reverse your hands up here. You got to turn around this way, and then you got to grab this hook and go over here. And I'm like, you're insane.
He is so good at it.
But watching these athletes do this stuff is absolutely awe-inspiring.
Oh, man.
Watching them do this.